up, tribe? How you guys doing? This is going to be a retro review. We got Falcon Crest Season 2, Episode 13. So listen, it is the next day. Everybody now in the Valley knows that Richard Channing, Chase are now half brothers, and Jacqueline is they mama. They know that they got the same daddy, which means that Jacqueline had a whole affair with Angela's husband. Did y'all follow that? Okay, because this is what we picking up. So the Gilbertes are having breakfast. Jacqueline comes down, baby. Jacqueline comes down like ain't nothing happened the night before, and they were like, so how you feel about last night? She was like, child, that was last night. Today is a new day. We are moving forward. I got business to take care of, and it is what it is. Now, up to the Falcon Crest, of course, everybody is walking on eggshells waiting to see what, how Angela is going to be feeling about this thing. Because, Angela was pissed. Lance, of course, is loving life, because, anything that take the attention off of what he got going on, okay, he's fine with it. And then we have Melissa, who can't wait to throw little jabs at at Angela. Now there's this test that Julia has been waiting for Lance to run on, some Cabernet, some Chardonnay, some Rosé, whatever. She waiting for him to run this test, and he is just doing, he running up to San Francisco, going to see his little side chick and all that other good stuff. Angela comes down for breakfast, baby, and Angela was like, what we not going to do is talk about what happened last night. Melissa, have you signed them papers yet to go ahead and give me them vineyards from your daddy? And Melissa was like, about that. My daddy's estate is not settled yet. It is all twisted and turned, and I'm still looking over contracts so I can make my decision. And Angela was like, I'm not understanding what decision you're going to make. You're going to sell them vineyards to us, and that's going to be that. Like, that was the whole purpose of this whole fake marriage. And that child that I know ain't mine. Okay, we're going to get to the child in a minute. Now, Hogan, y'all know Hogan. Nick, Victoria's coach, running coach. We see him and his wife, and he is really trying to get him and his wife to get their old thing back. He's talking about, remember that time we took the trip and we was in the cabin in the woods and it snowed and we didn't have no wood and we broke up the furniture? And she was like, I remember that. And we burnt everything except for that bed, honey, because I wouldn't get out of it. And he was like, well, how about, they got the tickle in and he threw her onto the bed. In a good way, not in a bad way. And he said, why don't we just take the day off? Like, let's just, you and me, let's just do our thing. And she was like, yeah, I got a dentist appointment. Now, I don't know about y'all, but if my husband said, baby, you don't go to work, I won't go to work, let's just have a day in bed, a dentist appointment would not be my reason to say no, unless I already wanted to say no. So, of course, Nick is sitting there like, well, I'm trying, okay? I am trying to figure this whole thing out with me and my wife. Now, down to the Gilberte house, we got Chase on his way out for the day, and Maggie says, Chase, I'm going to go get his money back to that record, that movie producer. The movie producer that I almost had an affair with when I was down at his beach house that Angela paid to try to have an affair with me? Him. Because I don't think he really ever believed in my project. And so I'm going to go ahead and give him his money back. And I'm going to get the rights to my movie back. And I'm going to try to really sell it on my own because I still believe in this project. Chase was like, all of that, the first part of that, I don't understand. The second part, I'm with. You ain't got to give him his money back. Screw him. And I don't really feel like I feel comfortable with you being around him. Because let's not forget, you almost had the affair. Like, I appreciate that you came and told me about it. But you came and told me about it after you almost did it. So, cash the check and go live your life. Because what he gonna do? What he gonna do? And Maggie was like, Chase, that's not what I want to do. I want to give him his money back. Listen, you can trust me. It ain't about that. I just want to give him his money back. And Chase was like, yeah, well, I'm going to be working late, so you go do what you going to do. Now, down to the San Francisco, Lance is with his girlfriend. Baby, they done planned a whole doctor's appointment for little Joseph so they can go get a DNA test. Now, of course, this is in the early 80s, so DNA testing ain't what it is today. Because like I said, today he could have just went and got him a little, went to the drugstore, got him a test, and swabbed inside of Joseph's cheek and mailed that thing off, okay? But we know it ain't like that. So, Lance got this whole plan. He done took the baby out for the day, went down to San Francisco. They done had the whole doctor's appointment where he got the baby tested for the DNA, okay? Now, while this is going on, Melissa gets a phone call from Richard Channing, and Richard Channing invites her to come, come down and have lunch with him. And she plays coy, and they kind of flirt back and forth, but she eventually agrees to go. I said, mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Now, while this is going on, Angela and Philip is trying to convince Angela to let this whole thing go. He said, listen, that was almost 40 years ago that the affair took place. Them babies ain't babies no more. They got kids of their own. Hell, one of them got a grandkid. You think it's your grandkid, but it's not. It's his grandkid. But let this whole thing go. Angela was like, now I know good and well, I'm not about to let none of this go, right? You know that I'm not going to let this go until I have revenge on Jacqueline. She has made me a laughing stock of the valley. And had it not been for her, maybe me and my marriage would have worked out. Now, let's be clear. We know that Jacqueline was not the cause. She was a side effect of y'all's whole situation. But whatever, revision is history. Revision is history. And Philip, so she wants Philip to try to get some information on Jacqueline as much as possible. And he was like, all right, well, we're going to try to do what we do. Now, down to the winery, we've got Cole and Chase working with Julia. And here come the nanny bringing that baby through there. And, of course, Julia is just cooing and con over her grandbaby. And Cole is mesmerized like, oh, my goodness, look at the baby. And Chase is standing back like, it's a whole damn mess. And Julia was like, look, I think he has my eyes. Here go Chase. I mean, he definitely got Gilbert's eyes. I mean, they not yours. But they belong to somebody. Terrible. So we got Victoria and Maggie, honey. We got Victoria and Maggie down to an art and craft type show, looking at some art. And who they happen to run into? They happen to run into Nick's wife, right? And Maggie was like, is that Nick's wife? And Vicky was like, And just as they about to, see who it is, baby, some dude walks up behind her, hugs her, and they get to kissing on the lips. It is more than just a casual thing. And Vicky was like, nah, that can't be her because that ain't Nick. Mm-hmm, it's her. That's that dentist appointment she had. So Maggie done went down to see the daggone movie producer and tried to give him his check back. And he wouldn't take it. He said, listen, Maggie, that is your money. Like, I know that I got paid to, to do it, but it really is a good movie script. And I'm really going to try to see if I can sell it. Like, we not done just because you don't. He was like, I get it. You don't trust me. She said, listen, I ain't even cashed this check, okay? All I want you to do is take this check back and give me the rights to my script, and we can move on, and you have a nice life. And he was like, yeah, I'm not going to do that. He was like, I have bought the option for 3 months. And if I can't do nothing but at the end of 3 months, then okay, then we'll have this conversation. But right now, I'm really trying to make this thing work. Baby, she done ripped up that check and threw it in his face. I was like, that don't change the fact that that check yours. And that don't change the fact that he ain't giving it back. Now he got the rights to your movie for free. Because he said, I got signed contracts. But we're not going to get into legality. I know somebody want to put under here about a contract has to be an acceptance and all that. Listen, I don't need you to give me the basics of contract and what contracts negotiation, what's legal and what's not. It's soap opera, okay? Okay, moving on. Jacqueline went to go visit Richard Channing because I guess in her mind she was like, listen, everybody know we might as well go ahead and try to build some sort of a relationship with each other. I low-key think she wasn't really even mad at Richard for telling the business, if you want to know the truth of the matter. I low-key feel like she was happy that he did it. So, of course, he's nasty to her and he's rude to her. And she was like, listen, I really feel like we can make this work. I really feel like we could, build a relationship. I know I'll never be like mommy, but I really want to have a relationship with you. And he was like, yeah, I'm good. And she was like, well, listen, I have some powerful connections. He was like, yeah, I don't need your connections. And so she was like, listen, I'm trying to make this work. Okay. And you are being difficult and you are making this whole situation harder than it has to be. And so finally she just says, you know what, I'm good. Me and my mink are going to get the hell up out of here, okay? She even tried to have that same conversation with Chase. And Chase was like, look, Mom, I know that that's your son and all, but please understand that he has been in this valley causing a whole lot of havoc for the last year. Okay, he was his. Are you forgetting that his newspaper damn near tried and convicted your grandson for murder? Like, are you forgetting about that little thing? Like, I know he your son, but he ain't my brother. Nope. So Philip got his other little side chick up to his apartment, honey, and they cool in the con and they making plans for dinner. And she said, "Are you sure you're gonna have time for me? Because Angela Channing is a very demanding." And he was like, I'm good. We're going to dinner tonight. And just as that happened, here come the phone ringing. And who is it? Angela, wanting to know what Philip is doing to try to help get Jacqueline out of her life. She was like, listen, I need you to find whatever you can find on Jacqueline, okay? Because I know that she has not lived this perfect life that she tried to pretend like she has. And either you going to find it or I'm going to find me a new lawyer, okay? And so Philip says, well, I tell you what. I guess we ain't going to dinner tonight. He was like, can I get a rain check, baby? And his girlfriend was like, yeah, I don't know. Like, I do know about Angela, but listen, this is getting a little ridiculous right now. So Philip, he gets on top of it, honey. He calling Rome. He's speaking that Italian. And Angela comes to check on him. And Angela said, listen, it's been 24 hours. I done been to your office. You ain't there. I had to come over here to your apartment to find you. What do you have on Jacqueline? And he said, listen, Angela, for the kind of information you want, it takes some time because Jacqueline is not that kind of person. Like, this is not easy information for us to just find on Jacqueline. And, of course, Angela was like, I don't understand why it's so hard. Like, I understand what the problem is that you having, okay? But he tells her he gonna get it done. Now, Chase and Angela, of course, have to have their own little showdown version. And Angela wants to know why Chase is making moves down to the winery without her approval. And he was like, because you had a big old do not disturb on your office. And contrary to popular belief, things still gonna run just because you don't feel like dealing with it at the time. So yes, I am moving and shaking down here. And she said, well, listen, I run this winery and don't you forget it. And at this point, he was like, yeah, all right, whatever. So then she tries to come at him about his mother. And he said, listen, let me explain something to you. I may not like all of the decisions that my mother has made. I may not like all of the things my mother does or says. But at the end of the day, she is still my mother. I'm not responsible for her actions, but trust and believe, I always got her back. Now do with that what you will. Okay? I said, I know that's right, Chase. You better defend your mama. You better defend your mama. So, then, we see Cole and Julia having a moment down because Cole went on and ran that test that they've been waiting on Lance to run for 3 days. And at first, Julia wanted to snap at him and get real nasty with him until she figured out that he did it and he did it correctly, okay? And so Julia is like, listen, I really do appreciate it, but you really need to just not be running around here doing stuff without, getting people permission. But then she realized he did it right. So it was kind of like, well, what we gonna do about it then? But in the low key in the back of her mind, she mad because she really be trying to look out for Lance, but Lance is really doing his own thing. But mind you, Lance is down in San Francisco getting that DNA test on that baby, okay? So we now have Richard Channing went to go see Chase. And this scene right here, I'm not too sure about because I don't trust Richard and I don't trust nothing about Richard, okay? Richard went to Chase to make peace, right? He apologized. He tried to make peace. He even said, listen, your mother came to see me, and I just wasn't that nice to her. I really wasn't that nice to her. So I really, I want a second chance with you, and I really want a second chance with her. Can you give her that message for me? And Chase was like, yeah, I don't know about that, bruh, because, I just don't like you. I just don't like you like that. He, Richard tries to shake Chase's hand, and Chase won't shake his hand. He was like, listen, I hope that we could try to be brothers, but your actions have proven that that's just not gonna happen. Next thing you know, we see Chase talking to Melissa about her dad again. He was like, listen, we gotta figure out who the hell killed your daddy, okay? Because at this point, there was a part where him and Maggie were talking about it, and they've come to the conclusion that he's come to the conclusion that it's somebody that they know. Because he said it's one thing if the police just got it wrong, if Cole was in the wrong place at the wrong time. He said, but somebody went out of their way to try and frame him. And that means that this was personal, right? This wasn't no accidental situation. And he asked Melissa about it, and babe, you know Melissa is throwing doubt over to Angela Channing's way. He said, well, who had the most to gain if this situation went down like that? And she was like, Angela Channing. And he was like, I mean, maybe, I don't know. So Vicky goes to have a conversation with her grandmother, because I guess Vicky feels like, well, since grandma had an affair with a married man, grandma will understand the fact that I want to sleep with Nick. And I'm trying to come up with all the reasons in the world that will justify me sleeping with Nick. So she goes to talk to her grandmother about it. And of course she's talking in, you know, well, if this happened, that happened type of situation. And her grandmother let her know, listen, sleeping with a married man will bring you nothing but a world of hurt. And she was like, well, I thought you would understand. And she said, blah, blah, blah. Don't be throwing that in my face, okay? You think I would understand. You want me to understand. But at the end of the day, I'm telling you what it is. And what it is sleeping with a married man is not a good thing. And I want you to think long and hard. And she was like, you really are better than that. Like, you don't want that life. And I've learned from my mistakes. Like, let's be clear. Hello, I'm paying for them now, okay? I am paying for my mistakes now. So, Philip calls Angela and lets Angela know, listen, I think I got what you've been looking for. I'll be over there in the morning with all of the goods on Jacqueline. I said, oh, what they found on you, Jackie? What did they find on you, girl? Lance shows up to the house and he is happy. Listen, he's as happy as he can be. You can't tell him that life is not good, okay? And Julia tries to warn him about Cole running around here doing his job. She was like, listen, you're going to give him an opening that you don't want to give him. And Lance was like, yeah, I ain't even tripping off of that right now. Look at this. And he shows her the paperwork that proves that he is not Joseph's father. And Julia is like, I can't believe you did this. And he was like, what you talking about? Like, I've been trying to tell y'all that that baby is not mine. And now I have the proof that that baby is not mine. And you mad? And she said, listen, understand that the only thing you have managed to do is take away the one good thing that has happened to this family in many years. Like, at the end of the day, you're not hurting anybody but that child. Like, these were adults that made decisions about a child. And so Julia is not happy about it. And Lance is like, well, listen, I get it. Like, I'm mad. I'm sorry that you're not happy about it, but you're going to have to deal with it however you deal with it. Because at the end of the day, that ain't my baby. I'm getting a divorce, and I'm going to go be with my boo thing down in San Francisco. So then he goes up to go tell grandmother about it. And Angela tells him, listen, Lance, ain't nobody got time to have this conversation with you right now. And he said, I kind of need you to listen. And he gives Angela the test results. Angela looks at him, and Angela says, this don't mean nothing to me. And she proceeds to rip up the results to throw them away. And he was like, what are you doing? That baby is not mine. I want out of this marriage. Angela was like, listen, you're not going anywhere until I get until I get the Agretti estate, okay? That was the whole purpose of this marriage to begin with. So until I get what I've been trying to get from Melissa, you ain't going nowhere. She said, and as far as I'm concerned, that baby is yours until I tell you he's not. Now get up out my face. What's wrong with you? So, of course, Lance's big plan has blown up in his face, okay? And he's pissed. And as soon as he leaves the room, Angela tells Philip, she said, look over my will again. A Channing, someone who's not a Channing will never run Falcon Crest. So basically, for the purposes of me trying to get what I want from Melissa, we ain't gonna say nothing about this baby. But this baby will not inherit nothing from me. Well, at least not running my vineyards. Then they proceeded to go over the information that Philip had found on Jacqueline. Well, come to find out, well, we'll get there. Okay. So Jacqueline and Angela already have a prearranged meeting. They were gonna meet up. And, well, we'll get there. That'll be the last thing we talk about. This ain't going to take long. Victoria goes to see Nick, right? And Victoria basically says, listen, bruh, I get it that you are married. But I don't care that you're married. Because, you know, I know you ain't happy. And I know it ain't what you want. So let's do this. And Nick was like, what are you talking about? Like, do you know how complicated this is going to be? Like, I do have feelings for you. But at the end of the day, at the end of the day, I still am married, and like I'm really conflicted about this whole situation. And Vicky was like, listen, listen. Let's do this. I don't care what that means. I don't care how it come out. I want to be with you. You want to be with me. Let's figure this whole thing out. And they agree to do it, but he's reluctant. And I'm thinking to myself, that's real dirty. Because on top of the fact that the man is married, he also works with your daddy. I'm going to say that one more time. He works with your daddy. Oh, that's dirty. So dirty. Charlie and Lance have a little moment, and Charlie is trying to give Lance understand basically what he did about the baby and the paternity was a bad decision. And Lance was like, listen, I really don't care. At the end of the day, I want to be happy, and that's all that matters. Okay? Okay. Melissa shows up to have lunch with Richard. They do their flirty flirt, do woo woo. She does tell him a little bit about what's going on with the estate and some of the problems she's having with the estate and everything. And he's whining and dining her. You know, he's trying to get her daddy's estate from her too. And so she's whining and dining her. He's whining and dining her. And now we have the great showdown, honey. We've got Jacqueline having her showdown with Angela Channing, baby. And they go back and forth and they trade barbs. And Jacqueline tells her, I didn't come back here with that baby because I thought it would ruin your marriage. But, baby, you managed to do that all by yourself. And Angela was like, well, you was a hoe. Slept with my husband. You can come up with all the excuses you want, but you was a hoe, okay? She didn't use those words. I use those words, but that's pretty much what she said. Then she proceeds to lay it on Jacqueline. Baby, here's what had happened. Jacqueline had got married. Now, the wedding got annulled. And you know, especially in Rome, when something gets annulled, it's like it never even happened. But, baby, they found it. Jacqueline's face cracked. The minute she heard it, Jacqueline's face cracked. She said, yeah, I thought, Angela was like, yeah, I know you thought that we wasn't going to find this information, but we found it. Now, you married this man, okay? And come to find out, his brother is the man that adopted Richard Channing. So, basically, you sold your son. And what did you sell your son for? Did you sell him for a better life? Did you sell him for all this money you have now and all of these great connections? It's just real coinky-dink that your son ended up being adopted by the brother of your husband at the time. And then quickly after that, your marriage was annulled. And you got this wonderful settlement. I feel like you sold your son. And that is my version of the story. And whether you agree with my version of the story or not, that's the version I'm going to tell Richard if you don't leave town. And Jacqueline was like, I'ma go. But please understand, you have not won. And I feel like, Angela, you might have pushed the corner and that's not what you want. That ain't what you want. So then she tells Philip later on, she says, listen, I'm still not satisfied because I want to know what she got out of it and why she did it in the first place. Philip was like, you might want to just let this go, Angela. You won. She left town. Angela was like, nope. I always want to be prepared and I always want to keep one in the chamber. Okay? So Jacqueline left, honey, and we'll see what happens next. But that is what it was. That's how it went down. Y'all let me know what y'all think. Drop it in the comments. Peace.